In this chapter, we're going to talk about things like paths and anchors. To me, they are the building blocks of anything that is object-oriented. So it doesn't matter the program. I don't care what you're using. If it's an object-oriented vector program, you're going to be dealing with things like paths and anchor points. Now, my little primer here, which is paths101.ai, if you want to open it, is inside of your exercise file for this chapter. Now, those square blocks right up here are actually the anchors, and the path is actually the part that kind of connects it all together. Let's start this lesson on paths. Now, what are they? Paths sometimes get confused with strokes, and sometimes I'll even get the two terms mixed up, but they are very different. A path, in a sense, is not seen unless something is put on it. Think of it like the bones in your body. You don't usually see the bones. If you do, you're kind of in trouble, I guess, and you need to go to the doctor really quick. But everything goes on top of the bones. Now, I do a lot of animation work, and I use a program called Maya. And basically, we create these wireframe, path-oriented objects, like a Jurassic Park dinosaur, let's say. You don't really see the wireframe. You see what we put on it. It's called skinning. So we don't need to use that term. That's an animation term. But it's kind of the same thing. If I come over here and you see this path right here, the path really, like I said, you never really see because there's something on top of it. If I decide to add a stroke to it, it's the path that controls how the stroke is applied, just like the flesh on your body is kind of contoured to the bones that are on the inside. That's what a path is. Now, I do have a path in this document, but you can't see it. I mean, this right here is just a little demo. If I come over here and keep coming, there it is. Nice thing about using the selection tool, if you move around, it's kind of like hunting with your eyes closed. Eventually, you'll find it. That path has no stroke and no fill. If I choose the stroke right here and pick up a color over here, it's now a stroke, but the stroke is being controlled by the path. If I come over here and pick up any shape, anything that we do in Adobe Illustrator, when we draw it, is being drawn by a path. The path controls what can be filled inside of it. The path controls how we stroke something and the direction that stroke takes. Without paths and anchors, we're going to talk about those in the next movie, the next lesson. Without paths and without anchors, you wouldn't have an object-oriented application. Now, if we go ahead and select, let's go ahead and do this one, and I'll go ahead and select it. And let me go ahead and turn off the stroke, or get rid of it, by clicking this little button right here. And of course, if I deselect, it becomes invisible again. One way that you can see the actual paths of all of the objects in your Adobe Illustrator document is simply to go up to the word View on the pull-down menu and go down to Outline. And there they all are. And the little boxes I made to represent anchors, there's the path. This is actually just one big long line. That's the path. Here's the path going around the circle. Paths are the bone that build the structure of the body. Without those paths, you'd have nowhere to apply things. You'd have no boundaries to fill things. Paths are a very important part of Adobe Illustrator. On to the next.